Morning everyone, back on the roofing today. We're in Blackheath, southeast London, and there's a bay over the front door which has been letting water in. So I've come here, they want it replaced with lead, so let's go and check out what we need to do. It's just this little front porch here. Massive puddle. All the flashings have fallen out. And you can see how deep the water is. So it's obviously backing up and going in the building. Right, it's time to rip it off. First job. Let's try and get ready. Massive puddle. Tiny outlet here. There you go. Going to redeck this underneath. You can see this is completely warped. And if I show you, that's the outlet. So all the water runs down that hole and into a pipe. Not the biggest, but it would work if it was running towards the outlet. Next job, rip this flashing in. Coming out Welding. Right, that's most of the water gone. Now we need to rip the tray out, which is basically the whole of this area. So I'm going to get a grinder and cut it, because I don't think I'll get it out in one. And then we can see there's a weird, I don't know if you can see that, square higher point, as if someone's put a board underneath that, which makes me think that the timber deck underneath's gone. Time to start cutting. There you go, some kind of weird board. Ah. Quite a lot of the problem was this tiny little outlet. If you look at the actual hole, it's quite a bit bigger, so we can make that outlet slightly bigger. And also that's quite small there, and the pipe it's going into is probably just about touching it. So we need to resolve that and make our pipe go in further. And also, you saw the puddles, so this is probably running back. So we're going to apply this, build it up so it's got good fall. So I put my trusty level down. And you can see there, it's running that way. So for that to be falling, I need to bring the back up. Well, it's at least an inch where my left hand is. So this needs to come up and get higher and higher as it goes towards the camera. So we're going to start off with ply onto the stone, and then we'll probably have packers as we go, slightly building up the fall so all the water runs into that outlet. As opposed to what we've got at the moment, which is a massive puddle in the middle. So we don't need to go right through because this will cut that deep. So just open the lever, you can move the sole plate and make a much smaller cut and lock it on just with that lever. Lovely job. Right, cut my first packer. You can see now on the level that we've got a fall going towards the outlet. So that's good. So we need to build it up as we go and then just ply on top. So I've cut a square out to accommodate the outlet. And we are in. Just need to put some fixings to run in with the next bit. One more over there and then we'll fix this in. Just going to fix these back timbers. Just quickly, it's 10:30 in the morning, bright blue skies, but I looked on the weather forecast and there's heavy rain coming at 3 and that's going to be all night. So I've got to get this tray in. Obviously the outlet's internal. If I don't, it'll be like a swimming pool pouring in through their ceiling. So yeah, let's get on with it. So our last section's going to be 58.5 again, and that is 80 centimetres, 31.5 inches if you're in somewhere that does imperial, i.e. the US. See that on there? Loads of fun. Lovely job. So there's an old chase there where that old zinc came out of, if you remember. I'm going to run the grinder through there and then that's where our new lead flashings are going to go all the way around. Could get a bit dusty. Right, that's all ground out. All the rubbish is swept up, so we're ready to do some lead work. Let me know at home what you think about these lovely old houses. Are they Victorian or Georgian? I say old, probably 120 years old. There's a big long terrace of them. It's not the oldest building I've worked on. The oldest is a place called the Hospital Chapel in Ilford in Essex. That was for English heritage, and that dates from 1140 AD. So yeah, you can look it up on Wikipedia. There's like a cedar spire on top of it with a weather vane, and I renewed the whole spire and reseeded the shingles and everything. But yeah, check it out. What's the oldest buildings you got where you are? Right, this is our lead. They do 3 metre rolls and 6 metres. This is just a 3 metre roll, but this weighs 61 kilos. So we need 2.2 metres in length, and Arnold Schwarzenegger to carry it up for us. Using some tin snips, which used to be my dad's. Sadly he's not around anymore, but the old tools, when you get used to them, like if you lost these it'll be devastating because they cut so well. When it comes to the corners, you can either boss them up with a mallet, which I'm not going to do, or you can weld them, which is way quicker. In a future one, I'll show you how to boss it. A bit like when I was doing the lead rolls on that roof in Greenwich. Yeah. Never gets any easier, especially when you get older. Right, this is all the space that I've got to work in. We haven't got a lot of space there. Just about clears it. Right, what I'm thinking, bend the sides up and try and lift it up and over that wall. This is probably 50 kilos. It's not the weight, it's the awkwardness of it. It just bends and flops everywhere. But anyway, first up, let's bend these upstands up. So I'm going to bend up the upstands along the lines. I've got seaming pliers, which are like big metal thing you can, but because of the weather coming in, it's easier just to quickly cut a bit of 4x2, set it on the line. And you're in. So that's good. There's hardly room to swing a cat here. Anyone heard that phrase, swing a cat? Do you know where that even comes from? Let me know. Interesting facts day today. And history of buildings. Right. This one, same again. On the line, bend him up. Move along. Let's just go. Come in, straighten out my flappy upstand. Where that timber is butted in there, I can just bring this corner make a nice square corner and you just round the bottom edge off. Then what I'm going to do is put you there, weld that joint up so that we've got a completely watertight box. So now I need to try and get it from there up to there. This is going to be hard. Well, got it upright, but like I say, it's not the weight, it's the floppiness. Obviously lead, you can just bend it and it flops, doesn't it? Here we go. Try and lift this. See it bending. Next one. Sorry about the grunts and groans. We're getting there. Result, we're in. Right. Dress all this in. And then to get a real tight corner, we've got a chase wedge. Put it in. And that chases a nice square finish. I do believe we are in. Now, I need to weld these corners up to make a watertight box before we cut the hole for the outlet, which is there somewhere. We'll look for that in a minute. Right, so these are my welding bottles. We're going to weld the corners. Red one, acetylene. Blue one, oxygen. So it makes a really bright but tiny flame. Different size nozzles for different metals. This is obviously for lead. So basically the red is acetylene. All that does is keep the oxygen alight. If you didn't have the acetylene, the oxygen would just, it's explosive, it just goes so, split second. So the acetylene just keeps the oxygen alight, and then it makes an incredibly hot flame. So if I put that there and show you, you see that? That's melting through the lead now. Not that lead's strong, but I think it melts at something like 375 degrees centigrade, so that just shows you how hot that flame is. And trust me, when you get it on your finger, it hurts. Also, for rods, just get some lead, depending how thick you like the welding rods, and just cut yourself some rods. As long as the lead's clean, obviously it's got to be. Otherwise it just won't run. A bit like soldering if you're doing plumbing. It needs to be perfectly clean. There we go. So I'm going to come in with a rod, get a little start on it. See that little blob there? That's got it going. You can either go up with the rod like this, welding it,
or you can just do it freehand. There you go. At the bottom there's a tiny hole, so I need to fill that. It's just where the joint goes round. So you just build up the lead around it. See how that lead's building up there? There we go. Sorted. Right, same again. I'm currently balanced on the edge of the wall, so if I disappear, I've gone down, phone the ambulance. Come in with a rod. This is so awkward because it's underneath this lip. Got it started. I'm just gonna run it in like this. Number 2 down. 2 to go. We're on the last bit of welding on these corners. If you're watching this video as a how-to, don't bother. Pay someone to do it. Like I said before on the other roof, split the lead or set fire to your house. Plus welding is, you can't just pick up the thing and weld. It takes a lot of practice. You end up blowing a load of holes in it. About here is the outlet, I think. So I'm just gonna, oh, bit of pointing for that. Good quality. So there is the outlet, somewhere there, if you can see that. Get the burner, turn it up a bit higher like that. And instead of welding lead together, I'm going to use it as a cutter. Somewhere under here is the hole. Sorry about the screaming, there's a school right over the road. Kids are a bit excited. Lunchtime. Won't make the rookie mistake that everyone makes. When the bit of lead drops off, they pick it up straight away. Because that's probably 180 degrees centigrade at the moment. And now, there's the old pipe right in the corner. So we're going to make a new outlet. It's going to go in the pipe like that, and then we'll weld around here. What I need to do now, out of this piece of lead, is make a pipe that's going to go inside that pipe there, so the water can run away. It's quite a small pipe, but in the van I found this broken old pickaxe handle,
and it perfect fit. So I'm going to wrap the I'm going to wrap the lead around this and use that to make our pipe. You see that? Keep that, we'll use that in a minute. So now we're starting to form our pipe, and I want to get that as tight as possible. I know it's not quite round, but because that needs to go in there. So, going to weld that joint to make it a waterproof pipe, and then fit a collar around the top to go there. Job done, what do you reckon? So now we're going to make that pipe go through there, if you understand what I mean, and then we can cut it to size. First of all, we need to cut this to length, because obviously it's way too long. So length of the pipe's fine, that's loads to cover, it goes right into the pipe, the other pipe. So now we need to make a collar on the top of this pipe, so we can weld onto that flat piece. So now we've got a nice collar on the top. We can weld round onto this. I'm going to cut a hole in this flat bit of lead, drop that through, and then weld it to make a sleeve. So we've got our outlet. Going to weld that around there, so that's all watertight. We're in business. Let's put him back in. And we are in. All welded up nice. Last job is to put the flashings in all the way around the wall. So we've just got to put the flashings in there. You can see I've bent it. The bent over top bit goes into the brickwork, and then that's sealed with a special silicone, which is for lead. Right, last job. I'm using Flashpoint, which is a special silicone. As you can see, lead, zinc, copper, stainless steel. And that just gets pumped into the joint. Right guys, that's it from me this week. We got this bay in, luckily it didn't rain, it's coming though. All the flashings are in, the outlet's bigger,
Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe or share, and I'll see you in the next one.